Alright, doing another Wizard Kid. Last one was like a month after the one before that. This one is almost 2 months.
Yeah,
Uh,
things were partially thrown off by my going to visit Josh,
and then
and
me
then
having a tooth that exploded.
just a series of unfortunate events. However, we are back, only for us to record one before I leave again on the morrow.
Yes.
Um, but
We will
this
finish
will
this
continue.
book eventually.
Yeah, it'll continue in January.
Yep.
So thanks for the patience.
I
Anyway,
expect this one to be kind of short because it was only one chapter and we don't really have
mhm,
that many notes. So now that I've said that, it's going to be 5 hours long.
yep.
Also, it's like five. It's 4:30 in the morning. So, to start out with the usual crap, the running total things that I have updated here are what I'm going to consider an instance of whimsy. You might disagree. Just the
Okay.
fact that Acromantulas can speak English.
Uh, that's a tricky one because that's just kind of a trope in general with like sci-fi and fantasy where there'll be fantastical creatures that can speak the same
I feel like
language
this
as each
is the only non-humanoid creature that has been able to talk, though.
other.
Because, like, snakes
Right.
can talk, but they're just making hissing noises.
Yeah, it's impossible. They have their own language.
Like, I like, and we've been using whimsy in the past for things that are like, oh, this is just how the wizarding
It's
world
weird.
works. It's weird, but it's just their culture, and this is just kind of like a fact of the world. But we
Yeah.
did that for the house elves, like,
Well, no,
going full
again,
with
it can.
clothes. So
Yeah, again, it can count for anything that is a part of the story. Anything that the writer put in, and is like questionable in the sense of like why would it be like this, basically.
yeah. So there's that, and then we just barely have an instance of a named one-off character.
Oh, really?
Aragog's wife, Mosag.
I see.
Mosag. I don't know how you say that. I looked that up because I'm like, I want to know if this name has any significance because Aragog, like,
Shows up
Agog
again.
mean Agog means king, and then it's arachnid, so the name
Which
makes
which
sense.
language is Agog king in?
I think it's Latin. I
Oh, really?
remember I remember
That's
learning
weird.
that
I'm pretty.
as
I thought Rex was king, unless that's
oh,
specifically emperor.
you could look it up. I remember learning that Agog meant king in high school when we were learning like root words.
Let's have a look.
So I looked up what Mosag or however you pronounce that is, and you're gonna love this one.
Oh
A
yeah.
Scottish gay. I can talk really well. A Scottish Gaelic word which means dirty female or filthy.
Well then,
A, a dictionary of the Gaelic language from
are we sure?
1839.
Are we sure that this is her wife's name and he's not just calling her a bitch in Scottish? in Scots.
But a dictionary of the Gaelic language from 1839 defines Mosag as a tawdry, drabbish woman, a worthless woman, a mean or avaricious woman.
So here's the thing. I looked up Agog or Agog. I don't know. It's actually. Yeah. Mm, well, I looked up on Wiktionary. It says that it's Agog, and it just means like in a merry mood or like
Oh, what the hell?
in eager desire. But here's the thing: there's also what do you call it? Suffix of Agog, which is used for stuff like demagogue, and that's like a leader of some kind. So it might be from that.
Maybe, because I definitely remember learning that and then putting two and two together. I'm like, oh, like Aragog. So
Ancient Greek ago or yeah, ago means I lead, and agogos means leading. Apologies for my bad ancient Greek there.
so maybe not king, but something similar.
Yeah.
So those are the only two running total things I have. I've got the changes in localization here. One of them you pointed out, so I'll wait until we get to that point.
Oh, okay.
Then there's so the students are having to be escorted from class to class by the teachers because
Yeah.
it's dangerous. They go to herbology, and then apparently in the original British version it said Professor Snape escorted them to their next class, which was a
Mhm.
mistake. So it got
Oh,
changed to
okay.
Professor Sprout.
I see.
Very minor case of Hagrid hatching Aragog out in a cupboard as opposed to just in a cupboard. I don't know what the hell out in is supposed to mean. But then we have a really weird one. There's a scene when they're at the
Very famous scene. Sorry, I'll shut up.
there's a scene when they're in the greenhouse where Harry sees like a line of spiders walking to the forest, and this was just totally rewritten.
Oh, really?
So it's 3 paragraphs with like interjections from like Ron and some other characters in between, but the paragraphs themselves changed. So the original is: a second later, Harry spotted something that made him hit Ron over the hand with his pruning shears. Then there's a line. Harry was pointing at the ground a few feet away. Several large spiders were scurrying across the earth. Then there's another line. Harry watched the spiders running away. And that's it. The US version is like twice as long.
Weird.
A second later, Harry spotted something. Several large spiders were scuttling over the ground on the other side of the glass, moving in an unnaturally straight line as though taking the shortest route to a prearranged meeting. Harry hit Ron over the hand with his pruning shears. ... Harry pointed out the spiders, following their progress with his eyes screwed up against the sun. ... Harry's eyes narrowed as he focused on the spiders. If they pursued their fixed course, there could be no doubt about where they would end up. So I don't know why they, like, beefed that up so much. Like, it read perfectly naturally in the version that I have read, but, like, I don't know if it needed it. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So, I guess just on to our notes then.
Yes. So to start with, I completely forgot that at the end of the previous chapter, it's like, oh no, Dumbledore and Hagrid are being taken away. They go back to the school in this one, and some time passes. I think in the game, and probably the movie, I think they go straight from Hagrid's hut to like, oh shit, follow the spiders. Okay, and they just start following them immediately, right there.
I want to say they probably do in the movie. I don't actually remember, though.
Well, actually, to be fair, now that I think about it, I don't even remember if this scene is in the game, now that I think about it. I don't remember. Huh. I'd have to look at that.
Yeah.
But in the movie,
when we eventually see the movie, I guess we'll keep an eye out, because
yeah.
I don't remember... Like, I remember a scene of spiders going through a window, but I think that was probably earlier in the movie.
You know what vibe it gives me? It makes me think of, like, video games that are like, oh shit, we gotta go chase after them right now. But if you want to go back and save and, like, collect some items, that's really fun.
Well, to be fair, Hagrid said follow the spiders, and there weren't any spiders in his hut.
No, I mean, that's
fine.
So, that's fine. Yeah. It's just... that's the vibe it gave me.
So, I noted here the first few paragraphs of this chapter they're kind of showing like this dramatic shift to everything being serious business. It's a little over the top, but it basically says like, there's just this sudden mood that has like befouled the castle. Like everybody's super jumpy. And I'm just imagining, like in the movie, I'm pretty sure like everything stays about the same throughout, but you know how like basically after this one the movies start getting a lot gloomier and darker and like desaturated. I'm just kind of imagining that happening in the castle here, where it's like, this last petrification happens and then just half the color in the castle is brown. Like
yeah
the later movies seriously overdo that so much. They're not appealing to look at all.
It's kind of a shame, but it is what it is.
Like, they did it for artistic reasons, but God, they're drab.
It's, Prisoner of Azkaban is a dark movie in terms of theming as well, especially like the tone of it, but I feel like they still got in some good pops of color, and
they do in Goblet of Fire too. It's like I always remember most of Prisoner of Azkaban being kind of blue and gray. Yeah. Order of the Phoenix is like all blue.
Yeah.
Half-Blood Prince is solid fucking brown the entire time, and then the last one is just kind of generally dark. But anyway, so you read this chapter like 3 weeks ago. Do you remember what any of your notes are even for here? Like,
More or less, yeah. So Lucius, it's either Lucius
it's
and
Draco.
it's
It's
Yeah,
Lucius
Draco.
through Draco, but
That's right. Yeah, Draco's mentioning like, oh yeah, Lucius said, my father said Dumbledore's the worst thing that's ever happened to the school. It's so good that he's gone, being a little shit. And I'm just like, okay, so you obviously heard this from Lucius. Does Lucius have any actual issues other than, man, I wish he was an asshole like me?
I
They should
mean,
get some fucking Death Eaters in there. Like, does he have any legitimate concerns with him as a teacher? Because I mean, we know that some people do. Fucking, we had that whole conversation with Martin in the previous book, but I wonder if Lucius.
that's a whole thing about Dumbledore's treatment of Harry specifically.
Yes, but it's a
But
testament to his character and the way that he,
yeah,
kind of keeps people arm's length
I
and doesn't let them in on stuff and.
like you could. You could simplify this to saying like he doesn't like Dumbledore because he's not an asshole, but I feel like the real answer is just he's too soft on like Muggles or Muggleborns, and
Well, that's basically what I meant. Like,
yeah,
I was encompassing that. Like, is it just the whole, like, ideological thing, or does he actually dislike Dumbledore's character as well in more specific ways?
it's probably just that. It's basically the
He is
equivalent
petty
of
enough for
like
it.
wanting a segregated school, and the
Yeah.
headmaster isn't, so he's an asshole. Like,
Mm.
yeah. Um, but yeah, it basically describes like everybody's in a terrible mood because of the petrifications, but like
Yeah.
Malfoy's like the one exception to this. He's like happy that all this is going on, and he's bragging about it in the fucking class, and he's just like I bet the next one's gonna be a killing. I hope it's Granger. And before we even get to Ron reacting to that, there's another
Yeah.
bit here that I found. This is one of those things where it's like I highly doubt that much thought was put into it when writing this, but looking at it as the lens of knowing the story as it unfolds later, there's a scene where Malfoy basically says like Professor Snape, like, why don't you try to apply for headmaster? You would be great. And Snape just kind of like is like, no, I'm sure Dumbledore will be back before soon, but he kind of like is suppressing a grin, and you're supposed to read this as like he's being kind
Like,
of
the teachers are
smarmy, and
expected to, yeah, the
yeah
teachers are expected to act one way, but he's got his own agenda.
yeah yeah, it's like he's basically saying like, oh no, he'll be back, but like might not necessarily want Dumbledore to be back, but as soon as you know
Which,
the character's actual motives, that's totally wrong, because
this, yeah, this
like,
this is completely irrelevant, but just a random short anecdote that I remember one day in secondary school. There was it was the day after the general election in the UK, and we went into class with our music teacher. It was a small class, and he was in a pretty bad mood. Like, he was just kind of clearly not having a great day. And somebody in the class asked him like, "Hey, sir, did you see the election results?" And he was like, "Yep." And they were like, "What did you think?" He's like, "I'm not allowed to tell you what my opinion is, but you can probably tell," or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it was a little interesting thinking about that from the other side, because probably more than anyone, Snape is afraid of Voldemort coming back, and
Yeah.
I don't know if he necessarily knows that that he's linked
This is
to
even
the
connected.
to the attacks, but either way, he definitely doesn't want Dumbledore gone, because
Right.
they work together.
Yeah. So Ron gets really mad at, because as we mentioned, Malfoy's like, "I hope it's Granger." I find it really sweet because Ron gets fucking furious. He's ready to kill Malfoy, and
Yeah, it's
it's
like
a it's a
Harry
big
and
thing.
someone else, like Dean or
Have to
somebody, have to
restrain
hold
him.
him back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, like the entire way that they're going to herbology too, he like the dude is ready to like
Yeah.
rip his head
He's
off.
ready to choke a bitch. Yeah. And I think it's really sweet, and it's a big change from the last book where there's that famous scene. I need to stop doing this. There's the scene where he's like, "No wonder she hasn't got any friends. She's so obnoxious," and she hears him and runs off, and the whole troll
She's a
stuff
nightmare, honestly.
happens. Very big change, and it's obviously kind of a setup to it's a arc for their dynamic because they eventually end up together. So
Right.
he starts to come to really care for her in this book, a lot. So That's what I have.
This is a little off topic, but I have to say I like there. Reddit has like two topics that always come up constantly, and I don't even remember which one this one comes up in specifically, but there's a very popular opinion there that like the stereotype of like if one kid picks on another, it means they actually like them, and they're like, that's bullshit. Like parents need to stop teaching their kids this, and I agree with that, but I feel like that almost kind of describes Ron and Hermione, where they're like constantly bickering, but they just kind of work out anyway.
There's a difference between bickering and genuinely like being hostile towards someone. He is hostile towards her a little bit in the first book. I don't think I don't think that was out of like affection or like a secret crush. I think he genuinely didn't like her in the first book.
Yeah, and then turns around.
Yeah. And then by the time he does, they get on much better. They still bicker, but that's different.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So.
I don't even remember what the fuck this note is referring to. It just says crocodile fashion.
Yeah, that's the one I was gonna point out. It's another localization change.
Okay.
It's when they're going from potions to herbology, and Snape is escorting them. The original British version says they went crocodile fashion, and it got changed to just they marched. I don't know what the hell crocodile fashion is. It's a pretty good term, though.
Yep. So then we also have a scene where Ernie kind of makes up with Harry, and it's resolved so quickly and has basically no consequences, so it makes the whole thing of him suspecting him in the first place seem kind of pointless.
Yeah, because it was like a whole big deal earlier, and basically the thing that turned him around is he's just like, I know Hermione was your friend, you wouldn't have done this, I don't suspect you anymore. Yeah. Like, do you forgive me? And Harry's just like, yeah, whatever. Ron's like still mad at him though. So yeah, they have they're in the herbology class, like it's Ron and Harry, and then Ernie and Hannah Abbott are kind of just together, and Ernie makes a comment. He's just like, that Malfoy kid sure is, he seems to be like cheerful about all this. I wonder if he's the one who's behind all this. And Harry and Ron are just like, no. And I have to imagine like the scene was begging for a laugh track, like, cause it's just one of those things where, like,
it's dramatic irony.
It is, and also like this really just shows how much the main characters are just above everyone else because they know everything that's going on. And it's like, they went through all this trouble to like break all these rules and brew this possibly illegal potion to find this stuff out. And here we are months later, and it's like, I wonder if it could be Malfoy. It's like, yeah, we checked. Like,
yeah, not that they can say that. So then, people are discussing the whole thing with Hagrid being taken away, and for some reason, Lockhart is, like, assured of Hagrid's guilt. He's like, they would not take him away unless he was guilty. He's absolutely done it. I've always suspected the guy. And I'm just like, why? Why do you hate Hagrid? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, like, what happens is... I might be missing something in this scene, but yeah, basically Lockhart's just like you said, he's just assuring everyone, like, this is what happened, and Ron is just like... I think he says something like, I bet I know a lot more about what's going on than you do, and Ron's just like, no, you don't. Like several people speak up, and Harry has to like restrain himself from like shouting at him. I'm assuming that it's not Lockhart being like sure that Hagrid is guilty or having anything against him specifically. It's probably just he doesn't want to deal with it. And so it's like, an excuse has been found.
It's a convenient solution, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, he's like, okay, well, they found the guy, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. It's fine.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Your fucking note here.
Yes. So I think this is the point where they leave the school and they sneak out.
It's not. No, they're still in the class.
Okay, but they're deciding. Oh yeah, they're deciding to leave. Like Harry's like, "Let's go tonight. Let's try to figure it out."
Yeah, what happens is, because Lockhart's being an asshole. And yeah, Harry writes a note to Ron. It just says, "Let's do it tonight." Ron read the message, swallowed hard, looked sideways at the empty seat usually filled by Hermione. The sight seemed to stiffen his resolve, and he nodded.
And I bet Ron's resolve wasn't the only thing that stiffened when he thought about Hermione. If you catch my cold,
Terrible.
I have to.
So there's a whole bit with we didn't
like
put any
sneaking around.
notes on this, but like they were stuck up in the common room for a while because like
Oh yeah.
nobody.
And they have to like wait for people to like stop challenging them to wizard chess or
Yeah,
wizard
it's
snap.
like it's like nobody's going to bed at a normal time because everybody is like
Anxious.
basically like as soon as classes end, they have to go back to the common room and they can't like
Yeah.
go around doing what they want. So people are just kind of hanging out, staying up late. And yeah, it's like Harry and Ron can't leave until everyone else goes to bed, and like Fred and George and Ginny are like playing Exploding Snap with them or something, and it's like not until after midnight that they finally go. So
Yeah. So they head on down to Hagrid's hut. I can't remember if that's where they find the spiders or if they find the spiders somewhere else.
They
Oh
ha-
no, yeah, I told them in herbology leading to the forest. That's right. So they go to Hagrid's hut to pick up Fang, even though he's a coward, and Fang's like really happy to see them because he's been shut up in their shack for however many days.
Yeah, which makes me wonder because like when Hagrid's getting arrested, he kind of like is shouting like someone's gonna need to take care of Fang while I'm gone, and it's like he might have been saying it to Harry and Ron, but like if they weren't there, like would anybody have done that? I don't know.
Yeah, it's questionable. I could believe that Lucius would be perfectly happy to just ignore the dog and be like, "Oh no, I forgot" or something.
Yeah.
But because he's an asshole.
So
Yeah, so Fang's really happy to see them, and they're like, "Oh no, no, shh," because he's like barking and shit.
oh no, don't woof.
A wolf.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've. It's what it reminds me of.
Gonna play
And
the
then,
clip.
and then they. Okay.
Okay.
It's we reference this a lot, especially.
It's such a good clip.
It's so good. So they're like, oh yeah, well we got to keep him quiet.
Yeah. So their plan to keep the dog quiet and make him not woof is they feed him some like toffee that Hagrid made and they glue his mouth shut.
I don't think that's literal. I think that was just hyperbole. I assume it's just they keeping his mouth busy so he doesn't woof.
I guess. Yeah, it said like his teeth were glued together, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Toffee is really fucking sticky.
Yeah.
So I have to wonder at this point, hopping into characters' heads, what do Harry and Ron think they're gonna get by following the spiders? They obviously trust Hagrid enough to like actually follow the instructions. I don't know what they expect will happen. Like they're gonna get there and find.
Yeah, that's a good point. Either it's gonna be, it turns out that it's things fleeing from the monster. If it wasn't that, then it could have been the monster itself.
Yeah.
Like, either way, they're heading out into the forest to find this.
Not like they have any better options, but still.
I guess. So, yeah, So I had actually forgotten that Ron had never been in the forest before, because in the previous book it was Harry, Hermione, Neville, and Malfoy.
That's right.
So yeah, he's like, freaking out. Harry's not exactly happy to be there either. And the place is apparently completely pitch black. I always kind of pictured Lumos as being really shitty. I don't know if that's just me, because like it always just says like, the tip of the wand shot out a beam of light. So it's like with a flashlight you're kind of getting a thicker beam. Like I don't know if you're just getting like this tiny little pencil thin beam of light or what it is. But yeah, they're wandering through the woods, and it's not just your average everyday darkness, it's advanced darkness.
Yes. I never actually remember what that's from. Is that SpongeBob?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
they
eventually they
trundling along.
they're actually not the ones trundling.
Oh, okay. Is it spiders?
No, it's not them either. Yeah, because they keep going, and eventually the spiders like leave the path and go into like the thicker leaves and
right.
shit. And
Yeah.
so they're like they're having to walk through all this crap, can't see shit. And then just suddenly there's like
Bright
this super
lights.
loud noise and a bright light, and they're freaking out. And yeah, it's the
The car comes trundling along.
Yeah,
Um,
it's let me find the actual phrase because it's so stupid.
This is such a stupid, like, it's barely a brick joke. It's just kind of, I guess it's a Chekhov's gun, is what it is.
Come on, where is it? Why is it not finding?
Oh my god.
Ugh.
I can try to find it.
No, here we go. The sides of the car were scratched and smeared with mud. Apparently, it had taken to trundling around the forest on its own. Like,
I see. Yeah, I don't know. It's a word that evokes British vocabulary, even though it's not strictly a British word.
it's making me think of like older like a Looney Tunes era cartoon of like the car like walking with its wheels, or like maybe not Looney Tunes but like Roger Rabbit, but like yeah, you using them as like stretchy legs almost. Like, I don't know.
And I'm also wondering, how does a car go feral? It is enchanted to fly, but that doesn't make it sentient.
Yeah,
Why is it, like,
apparently this
wandering
thing
around
is
like a
just an
fucking
animal now.
lost cat? Like, yeah.
It's like isn't there a trope for like all animals are dogs?
I don't know.
I think it's either called that or something really similar, because it's like, Bullseye the horse from Toy Story. He's basically just a dog. Like, whenever you have like, the character's pet, they always just end up acting like a dog, and that's just, this car is the same way.
Yeah, kind of.
And Ron doesn't seem too confused by it either. He's just like, oh, look, the forest must have turned it wild. And he's like patting its hood.
Yeah. I don't know.
So, yeah, they find the car, and then not shortly after, or I don't know why I said not short. Yeah, but I said not long after, I guess. They end up actually getting abducted, and I had completely forgotten about this because I think in the movie they just kind of walk all the way there. Yeah, like Ron like notices a giant fucking spider, and it like grabs Harry, and then another one grabs him, and then one grabs the dog, and yeah, they're just kind of carried through like half the forest, and this is an extremely minor thing. But because I had forgotten that this happened, I never questioned this before. But like in later books, when Harry goes in the forest, I don't remember if it's when they're heading when they're leading Umbridge into the forest, or if it's when Harry goes to confront Voldemort in the final book. There's a point where it's like he's like, oh no, we're heading towards where Aragog is. It's like, you don't fucking know where Aragog is. You were carried upside down in pitch blackness through fucking like 10 minutes
they
of
do
forest.
Escape in the car, but the car's going really fast.
Plus,
so...
I'm sure they're not going to pay attention because they're
Yeah.
like, they just practically died. But whatever.
It is highly questionable. So, what?
Huh?
What was that?
Nothing.
Okay. So yeah, they're carried into. Oh no, they're carried into Aragog's lair, where, as we mentioned, it inexplicably is capable of speaking to them in English, and I remember this scene being a lot dumber because I thought that they showed up, and they're like, oh, they ask him, and Aragog just kind of like info dumps at them for a while, and then is like, let's kill him anyway. But it was more like they were like, we're gonna kill you, and they're like, no, we're Hagrid's friends, and they're like.
Yeah, Harry is trying to talk himself out of the situation.
Yeah, they're basically Harry's questions are basically just stalling for time.
The spiders that carried them in there are just like, we found men, and he's like, well, kill them. And he's like, wait, no. So
yeah,
and so that scene just kind of is what it is. Like,
we don't learn very much. We still don't learn what the fucking creature is.
No, they refuse. They conveniently refuse to say what it is.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, but basically what happens is, like... Oh, yeah, it says, like, we found men, and it's like, is it Hagrid? And no. And then it's just like... And Harry goes, like, we're friends of Hagrid, and they have this whole thing, and he says, like, Hagrid has gone to Azkaban. It's like, how the fuck do they spiders know what Azkaban is.
Yeah.
And so they talk for a while, and he's just, it's like, okay, so you're not the monster, whatever. And Aragog says, I never saw any part of the castle but the cupboard in which I grew up. And I'm like, fucking no, because we had a scene where when Tom Riddle confronted Hagrid, you tear-assed down the castle.
Look,
and,
if Harry doesn't
over.
remember the way to Aragog's, Aragog doesn't remember the way out of the castle, because he was fucking...
Yeah, granted, it was 50 years ago, and it was like 1 minute when he was like running out, but
yeah.
I got you on a technicality.
So just when it seems like, they're just gonna fucking die over nothing, the car shows up again.
The whole thing is so stupid. It's just...
Yeah.
Because, there's fucking hundreds of these things, and Aragog says, I made a promise to Hagrid that, we would never harm anybody. So, they've just been hunting animals, but it's just like, well,
But I think they imply that they're, really hungry and they look really delicious, and they kind of don't care right now.
Yeah. I don't know, whatever. So, everything was going to be completely fucked. It gets resolved immediately, because as soon as, they start closing in on them, the car shows up, and they manage to get in, and then, there's no problem. They escape just fine. But, if that had not happened, they absolutely would have died, and,
they had no recourse.
This was, this is one of the most horrifying situations in the series, honestly.
Yeah, kind of.
There's other instances later where it's they're facing down monsters or horrifying stuff, and they have to just find a way out of it. But this one was just
they figure it out.
Christ.
In this case, they basically just got fucking the car just was their savior. They had nothing else that they could have done. It's hard not to like the car after that. Even if it never shows up again, right? Not in any other books.
Oh God, does it? I don't remember. I want to say that in an early draft, it was gonna be in the Battle of Hogwarts, but it didn't make it in. I think Rowling said something about that.
Oh man. Let's see.
It totally should have, but I don't think it was.
Apparently it was okay. Hang on, I'm looking at the wiki now. Apparently. Oh, never mind. Okay, I'm stupid. I was gonna say apparently it was used by Bill and Charlie in 1985. That's a fucking mobile game thing. Never mind.
85. That's before the series, anyway.
I know. I'm saying.
So,
That's what I'm saying. But,
yeah, I always love that when I look stuff up and the wiki is just like, oh, around in 1985. I'm like, what do you mean? Oh, it's the fucking Pokemon Go.
Apparently, okay, but it says that in 1999, Rowling said that it was supposed to reappear in a future book, and it just doesn't. That's a shame. I like the car.
Yes, it is the best animal.
Apparently, there's a similar car upside down in the Room of Requirement in Deathly Hallows during the Fiendfire scene.
Man, what the hell?
I don't know if this is in the book or in the movie only.
Who the fuck got a car into the Room of Requirement?
I don't know.
I'm like, that actually kind of bothers me, because
I mean, the wiki says it's possible that a staff member went in and fucking took it out.
What?
I don't know. Well, yeah, okay. At some point between 1993 and 1998, the car may have been taken into the Room of Requirement by a member of the Hogwarts staff, as a similar car appeared upside down during the students' escape from Fiendfire.
Okay, so
destroyed along with the other artifacts in the room.
So I have several problems with this. First of all, I don't think anybody in the staff actually knows about the Room of Requirement.
Oh, fuck you, Wiki. Their source for this is that there's an upside-down blue car that looks similar in the Room of Requirement during the Fiendfire scene in the Lego game.
Oh. Okay.
Fuck you. You can't... That's not canon. You dipshits. That's not how it works.
Good shit.
Even if it was in the movie, I would still be like, that's questionable.
Yeah.
The fucking Lego thing. Are you shitting me? Get the fuck out of here.
Because, like, at this point we're almost done anyway, and we've only been going for half an hour. But I want to go on a tangent here. Like,
Yeah,
this
that's
is
fine.
something that needs to come up again in like book 6. But like, the room with all the hidden shit that the diadem is in, like, do you imagine that to be like all stuff that people hid in there, or does the room generate a bunch of bullshit to hide your stuff? Like,
Oh god, I don't know.
because like, Voldemort
There's
hides
no
the
way
thing,
that many people have stuffed random bullshit in there and then just left it.
especially since it has like wardrobes and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like it has to generate stuff in there, but like, a lot of people question, like, okay, Voldemort, what the fuck were you thinking? Because you hid this thing in there thinking nobody has ever found this room, and yet there's all this shit in it. Like, what? And
Yeah.
and now, to be fair, hiding something like among like thousands of other items is actually a really good way to hide something. It's honestly better than giving it its own little like unique room.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, really, you thought no one else had found this?
We already questioned Voldemort's Horcrux placement in previous parts of this.
Yeah.
What with yeah.
So anyway, back to Aragog chapter.
Yeah.
So yeah, they escape the forest, and their Ron is just fucking done with this shit. Yeah, Harry is somehow holding it together. Yeah, they go back up to bed, and Harry like can't sleep because he's just thinking over. He's like, okay, what did we learn? We learned that this, like, Hagrid wasn't the one responsible for this, and
Yeah. And
there's
so,
like,
and the monster has only killed. Sorry, do you have something else to say?
I mean, you were pretty much gonna say it, but yeah, it's like I actually paid attention specifically to this. They didn't really address it, but yeah, Aragog says, like, the girl that died was found in a bathroom. I never saw the bathroom. They kind of don't parse the information until Harry's laying in bed, and he like thinks about that, and he's like, oh. And then he wakes up. Ron is like, what if she's still there? What if it's Moaning Myrtle? Oh, dramatic ending.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's easy for me to take for granted. Like, yeah, Moaning Myrtle was killed by the basilisk. That's just a fact. I like completely forgot that's even supposed to be a twist in the first place. Like, because
Yeah.
she shows up earlier, and they just don't question it. They're just like, yeah, okay, it's just one of the ghosts. Which, to be fair, that's kind of genius, because they have established that ghosts are just a normal thing at Hogwarts. So they probably don't question, like, yeah, okay, there's a bathroom ghost, sure. Everyone knows Moaning Myrtle. And then they're like, wait, oh, she's actually fucking connected. Like, that's brilliant.
Yeah, it works out well. And that is the chapter. So we probably could have managed to do 2 of these, but
I wanted to, but you insisted on it. So,
I'm
all
sorry.
blame goes to Josh. No, it's fine. I'm winding you up.
What is the next one anyway? Is it like
Next one's Chamber of Secrets, I think.
already? Let me see.
Yeah, they go to the
Jesus.
bathroom. They go to the bathroom. They ask Myrtle, and then they're like, "Well, Chamber of Secrets must be around here somewhere." Then,
Yeah.
and then they find it.
Okay, so yeah, the next one is
Well,
they
it's them
find
getting
the
in-
entrance,
Yeah.
and then the chapter after that is actually in the chamber. So those could be grouped together, I assume.
Probably.
But yeah, I guess it'll be a bit before we can do that because you're going to be gone for a while.
Indeed.
You want to pull up comments?
Yep, I've got them ready. Let me just have a look though.
Oh no, there's 0 comments. I will pull up comments from other videos. Let's see what I got.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Are we recording?
Something about Domino's Pizza. Yeah, we've been recording the whole time.
Okay. Somebody suggested that Expelliarmus might have vary in effectiveness depending on the power level of the user and the target. So, for example, Snape is more powerful than way more powerful than Lockhart, so it blasts him away. But since Harry and Draco are about as skilled as each other, it just disarms him. That's plausible, I suppose.
Could be, yeah. Yeah, there are other spells that,
The magic is the magic is still kind of poorly defined at times, but I could buy that. That's not unreasonable. Um, Oh, some we mentioned about how like why doesn't he just fucking chuck a Horcrux into the ocean, like make it a grain of sand? Somebody suggested if all of the Horcruxes had similar sort of abilities to the diary, and even similar to the locket, where they have something of a consciousness and something of this dark power that can corrupt things. It's possible that that would, the dumping them off in mundane places like the ocean or just like randomly burying it somewhere could potentially cause like effects that would be noticeable and people might investigate them. Like it's they suggested here that if he dumps something into the ocean, maybe it just becomes a fucking Bermuda Triangle type situation where like suddenly the seas here become really dangerous and then maybe it would get investigated.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
could believe that, but they don't go into too much detail about exactly what Horcruxes do. It kind of seems like each of them has different rules.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think now because that actually is a good discussion, and it's again looking way too way later in the series than we are now. But
True.
the one that we see the most of is the locket. The goblet we don't know fucking anything about. Nagini is just whatever.
Nagini is Nagini.
The ring, Dumbledore is the one who interacts with it, and he he does get cursed by it, but it's unclear if like it was influencing him somehow or if he just he wanted the resurrection stone for his own purposes and was tempted by it. But yeah, so the locket, it puts everybody in a bad mood. And I've seen a common theory online that like, oh, the reason the Dursleys were so bad to Harry is because he's a Horcrux and he was making them like he was making them that way, and that is complete horseshit because the Dursleys were terrible even before they took in Harry, and also he doesn't affect Ron and Hermione, so that's not a thing.
Yeah, that is it might be different rules because Harry's his own person, whereas the other objects are just completely mundane, just things, so they don't have any kind of will of their own. So, again, I would be interested. There's lots of potential in this series for avenues to explore more deeply and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of, chuck the Horcrux into the ocean and then just suddenly, it's messing up stuff around it. That could be interesting to see. But
mhm. So yeah, thanks for all the comments, everyone. We did get a few more that were just kind of responding to things we said without necessarily, bringing up anything I felt the need to address. But yeah, thanks for the support. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
yeah, that's
Next one in January.
about all we got. So,
Goodbye.
ish.